We're talking about battling black money and whether the newly constituted special investigation team under the Modi government can actually bring it back. Sources have said that the SIT is trying to fast track those black money investigations. Getting information from foreign countries is going to be a challenge, or will it? The question really ultimately about political will on black money. And joining us on this debate are Vaidyanathan, the Professor of Finance in IIM Bangalore, who was part of the BJP's task force on black money, the Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court, KTS Tulsi, Lalita Kumar Mangalam, still with us in the studio on this. And finally, we have the Congress joining us on the black money debate, Salman Soz of the Congress joining us from Srinagar. Mr. Vaidyanathan, I'm going to take this first to you, since you have done a lot of work, a decade of work on black money. You have been part of previous task forces. Do you think this one will be any different?
My first point I would like to make is, the word black money is normally used in domestic situation. See, tax evasion at domestic is a no confidence against government. But if it is illegal wealth kept abroad in tax havens, actually it's a treason. So we should distinguish between domestic issues of black money and the global. And this SIT, whatever I understand, is going to focus only on the global thing. Now, this SIT actually, in a sense, has been constituted by the Supreme Court on a petition of Ram Jethmalani, and coincidentally the government changed and there was no other option. SIT was constituted because Supreme Court told otherwise we will take it as a contempt of court by the government. Now, the question is, as you rightly said, what is the nature of the political will we have got in order to deal with this issue? Because when illegal money abroad is talked about, people immediately think of political people. But it's not just politicians, it is business people, it is people in entertainment, it is media barons, it is sports people. The entire who is who of Indian system has kept money abroad.
Right.
So it's not going to be a very easy task.
Okay.
By this group. It's, unless there is a huge social type of a recognition and awareness in terms of bringing it back.
Okay, let's just
this
get
is what I would like to stress.
Let's get Lalita Kumar Mangalam into this. Ma'am, Rajnath Singh said 150 days is all this government requires to get black money back into the country. Campaign rhetoric, or are you going to make that a reality?
No, I think we are very serious about it. I think you'd remember that Advaniji has been speaking about bringing back black money for a few years now. He brought it up in Parliament in 2009 itself, in fact pre-2009 elections. And for the first time, I think without prompting from the courts or anybody else, we have had a meeting. This meeting today was, I think, between all the 11 agencies that have been dealing with this, whether it's the IB or RAW or CBI or the ED, etc.
Right.
And they have now laid out a very concrete roadmap. And 150 days is quite a long time. It's not, I don't think it's
less
impossible.
than 6 months.
Yes, the main thing is for us to be able to get and release some of the information that's already available with the government. If you remember, the government has already got a list of some names.
Right.
Which was never really released.
List of names, list of countries, tax havens where these bank accounts exist. In fact, Salman Soz, let's take that to you. That list has been with the government. Why did the UPA not act on it? There has been this allegation against the Congress party individually of protecting individuals. What do you say to all that?
No, I believe some of the names were provided to the Supreme Court. Not all of them, I believe. But let me first put in context what the UPA has done. I understand that there's a lot of noise in the system about how the UPA has basically done nothing. But if you look at the facts are that some key groundwork has been done, which now the BJP and the NDA government can take forward. For example, the Financial Action Task Force, an intergovernmental agency, said that as far as India was concerned, for anti-money laundering and financing, countering financing for terrorism, we have now attained global standards. If you look at what OECD said about automatic information of tax information exchange, we are a signatory to that. If you look at the first white paper on black money that was brought out by the UPA government. So I do want to place on record that it is not as if nothing was done. A lot of the groundwork, the hard work has been done. Now, as far as this question of names, there are some names in front of the Supreme Court. There are some that were not declared, perhaps because some of the names were made available through what is called a double taxation avoidance agreement, which under which you probably cannot declare names in public. But the Supreme Court is now in charge. There is an SIT in place, which I welcome. The government has done this. Of course, the Supreme Court had stipulated that this be done within 3 weeks of its
but I think,
order,
Salman, so let's take that to KTS.
So I'm glad it's done.
Let's take that to KTS Tulsi as well. Why is it that the Supreme Court has needed to intervene and get the government to actually pull in money which should be coming to its own exchequer? Is there no interest within the government to bring that money back? Was there none? KTS Tulsi?
You see, the first problem is that the Supreme Court has been given very exaggerated accounts of the amount involved. There are some reports which put the figure at 14 trillion, and the government of Switzerland has put this figure at 2.18 billion. Now you can imagine the difference. The CBI put it at 500 billion. If you see that the biggest banks in Switzerland are UBS and Credit Suisse, the total deposits of UBS are 1.3 trillion and the total deposits of Credit Suisse is 1.09 trillion. How do you, band about figures like 14 trillion? So that's what, creates a wrong impression. There is a World Bank research group which has analyzed the shadow finance in 162 countries, and they have realized that the problem of shadow economy in these 162 countries has been on the decline.
Right.
It has reduced from, in 1997 it was 31%, and in 1997 it was 34%.
Right, Mr. Tulsi,
in 1997 it was 31%.
Let's just go back to Mr. Vaidyanathan.
So the shadow economies have been going down.
Okay, you're talking about exaggerated figures. Mr. Vaidyanathan has talked about two different kinds of black money as well, the government needing to focus on one more than the other. Mr. Vaidyanathan, can you elaborate on that?
You see, there are actually 4 components to this whole issue. One is the domestic black money, other is the black money which is kept in tax havens abroad illegally. The ones which are kept abroad, again there are 2 components. One is what is you may loosely call tax evasion. They didn't want to pay taxes, but that is also part of treason because you can't keep it outside. Anyhow, the other is arising out of terror, arising out of smuggling of human beings, drugs and other things. Because I am a vegetarian, I call the first one as the vegetarian, illicit money kept abroad, other is the non-vegetarian. So we have to focus very clearly what we want to achieve. And KTS Tulsi is totally off the mark. Actually, the estimate by IMF and World Bank is 18 trillion is the aggregate global one which is kept in various locations by big companies as well as high net worth individuals. And Indian estimate varies, I don't know where from he got the figure 14 trillion or whatever it is. Indian estimate varies between 500 billion to 2 trillion. This is the range in which...
Right, Mr.
No,
Tulsi.
it doesn't say 14 trillion. No, sorry.
No,
you should read it again, sir.
that,
you are a good lawyer, but you must
Yeah,
read
okay,
again.
alright, let's get Lalita Kumar Mangalam in on
14
this.
trillion may
No,
have
the
been
point
exaggerated,
is,
Mr. Tulsi.
we must,
but
and
there are
another thing, Maya, in
Yes,
all
Mr.
this,
Vaidyanathan.
on all these debate, Maya, one thing which is not talked about is the amount of diamond, pearls and gold which is kept in the lockers.
So you're adding that to the figure
banks
which Mr.
by
Tulsi
Indians.
is saying might be
That
exaggerated.
doesn't come in your shares or bonds.
Yeah.
Yeah, bullion trading is one of the major causes for the, how do you say, to bring up black money.
Right.
There's an enormous amount of black money involved in it.
But I think,
and that's never been calculated.
I think, okay, so one aspect, forget about what we're talking about in terms of tax havens and overseas. What about the kind of black money that's circulating within the country? Everyone talks about this booming real estate sector and how that actually has been one of the focal areas of where this money has been channelized, Mr. Tulsi.
Yeah, 11% of GDP is the contribution from the real estate sector.
I find that this SIT has been constituted primarily for unearthing the black money abroad. But black money abroad, no one keeps in his own name. People there are off-the-shelf companies in whose names it is there.
Right.
And the Swiss do not disclose. It's a criminal offense to disclose the identity of the account holder. Even when it is disclosed, can be disclosed only on the direction of a Swiss judge. So therefore, it's not going to be easy for the SIT. And why are they concentrating only on foreign money?
I'm sorry to interrupt, sir, but the Americans have got some names from the Swiss. So why can't we? It won't be easy, I agree, but it can be done. They've given names of certain individuals to the US. Why can't they give it to us if the government pushes hard enough?
Okay, let's get Salman.
The Tunisia has got, Egypt has got. I will tell Tulsi something about these basic things.
Okay.
The Tunisia has got, Egypt has got, Indonesia has got, Philippines has got, Peru has got.
What has stopped India from getting it all this time? Let's get Salman Soz in on that. Fair point, Mr. Vaidyanathan. Let's get Salman Soz in on that. What is it you think has been an obstacle in the way of India getting access to some of this information? Other countries across the world are getting it.
You know, as Mr. Vaidyanathan,
they are getting the money.
A lot of work in this area. He knows this. He knows this very well. That this is a very, very complicated topic. We've gotten some names, for example, from German sources. But when we talk about the Swiss, for example, the former finance minister, Mr. Chidambaram, wrote 3 letters in 4 months to his counterpart, trying to get the Swiss moving on this particular issue. This has a lot to do with the kind of secrecy that engulfs essentially the Swiss banks and the kind of accounts they have. But some headway has been made. Switzerland is also a signatory to many of international treaties that target black money. So I think there is hope, there is room for optimism, and I believe, you know, we should give the new government time, as Ms. Kumaramangalam says. They say that they can do this in 6 months. We hope so, and we should support their efforts. So if that happens, that would be terrific. But I must caution that this is not, as Mr. Vaidyanathan said in the first instance, this is a very, very complicated task, and that is why it takes such a long time. Remember, if this were easy, this would have been done in the NDA times or the UPA 1 times. This is not that easy. It has been very difficult. People who stash black money abroad, they hide it under different kind of companies and other things. It becomes very, very difficult to track it. But I think we should respect the new government. We should say that they have said that they're going to deliver this money within a stipulated time. Let's hope they do it, and we wish them all the best. And we will support them in whatever way we are able to.
Right, Salman Soz, Lalita Kumaramangalam, KTS Tulsi and Mr. R. Vaidyanathan. Unfortunately, we're completely out of time, but the SIT has been constituted. We're talking about 150 days. Ms. Kumaramangalam seems to think that that's not a short amount of time. The BJP will...
we will do our best. We are determined to see that black money comes back.
Well, I think in the interest of the country, the economy and every political party who's been trying to battle this malaise, we can only hope that this task force is going to be able to do what's set out to do. We'll unfortunately have to leave the show with that tonight. Thank you all for watching. The buck stops here tonight.